The issue begins with the Superior Spider-Man searching for the whereabouts of the villain Massacre, who is busy making an interesting business pitch. Last issue, after Massacre escaped his incarceration, he left a heavy debt toll at a fast food restaurant. Now, the owner of the fast food chain agrees to pay Massacre a hefty sum if he wears the brand name of a competitor while he continues his killing spree. In order to track the killer, Ock has turned to Owaru Jackson. With Jackson's facial recognition system built into his spider-bots, Doc can easily scour the city for his target. While Doc enjoys an evening with a fellow classmate, his spider-bots are able to locate Massacre. Sending for police backup, Doc thinks ahead. Using Peter's memories, he learns of Massacre's penchant for taking hostages. So before engaging, he diffuses the situation by finding and rescuing the hostages, but ends up being late to the scene. Massacre has already barricaded himself within Grand Central Station. Their fight is intense but short as Massacre realizes he has no escape plan without the hostages. Peter once promised to never let Massacre kill again, a promise Doc debates as he holds a gun to Massacre's head. Eventually, he poses the question to the gathered masses, and a resounding call for blood is heard. It is at this time that Massacre breaks into tears of joy. A psychiatric patient unable to experience emotions, he finally feels something: fear. Doc dismisses Massacre's breakthrough and ends him. Doc Spidey is praised for his work, but he realizes he has unfinished business. The issue ends with the Spider-Bots converging on Massacre's business partner. Doc taunts the woman, saying he sees all. It is Spider-Man's job now to not only watch over the city, but to judge them as well.
One change that Superior Spider-Man brought that I thought I might like would be kind of the Doc Ock personality in Spider-Man, like the Doc Ock mentality. And these last couple of issues have really done that, like where he's really started to be more ruthless than Peter Parker ever was. I mean, in this issue, he shoots Massacre.
I think that was a great scene, too.
And that is definitely crossing a serious line.
And we've talked about this before, but these lines seem to be just arbitrary based on what Peter Parker would do. This isn't Peter Parker, and there's other heroes.
So you want Superior Spider-Man to just become the Punisher?
He's not going to be the Punisher. He's going to be better than the Punisher.
So, like, the Punisher with brains. That's what you want. I mean, regardless of whether or not it's okay for him to be more ruthless, it still is interesting to kind of get to see this fresh take on Spider-Man.
You bring up a change, and Peter's also really worried about this change. He's constantly bringing up the fact about Doc just tanking his reputation.
Yeah, he kept saying multiple times, what am I going to come back to when I get my body back? And I almost feel like that's teasing a Peter Parker return. I mean, eventually Peter Parker's obviously going to come back. But when do you think that's going to be?
I think...
Like, how soon can we expect Peter back?
Time-wise, I think it would make sense for Peter to come back after Age of Ultron. Unless he comes back during Age of Ultron.
I was actually kind of thinking, the way Doc Ock is just tanking Peter's reputation within, his Horizon community, his Avengers community, and his relationships with, like, Mary Jane. I think maybe it's Slott's way of resetting Peter Parker, because the Peter Parker from the end of Amazing Spider-Man was just too awesome, So he's got to have something to work with once he comes back. He's going to have a lot more challenges. He'll be an underdog again. I think over the course of Amazing Spider-Man, he wasn't an underdog. He was just too overpowered.
At the end of last issue, we had the teaser of the Green Goblin being back. He's nowhere to be seen in this issue, obviously.
Well, I mean, there's been a bunch of teasers for the Green Goblin. I think there was a teaser at the end of Amazing Spider-Man, and he never showed up again. Norman Osborn, when you get him back, you really got to have a lot of build-up to it, because he's, in my opinion, I think he's the big bad of the Spider-Man universe.
We've already seen Doc sort of end the thing with MJ, and he's been hitting...
Although it's important to note that he ended the relationship with Mary Jane for noble reasons.
He did. But in this issue, we see him maybe developing a new romantic interest with his tutor.
That was kind of bizarre. First off, I was not quite sure how old she was. I assume she's like 18 at least, probably.
She's in college.
But it was kind of strange, but also kind of cool. I mean, it shows another side to Doc Ock. He was pretty kind to her after
She made good food, and that was important to him.
Well, and then once he realized how smart she was, he respected her, and, he wasn't a dick.
And you do see a softer side to Doc Ock in these issues as well. When he saves that woman from the bomb, he sort of is thinking to himself, what am I doing here, saving these people? And then you see him sort of trail off as she hugs him thanking him. So, he also has a soft spot too. Though we're talking about Doc Ock changing and really changing Peter Parker, he also brings up a very telling quote when he's about to essentially kill Massacre. Right after Massacre shows some emotion for the first time, he says, "You are who you are. That killer will always be you, hiding inside you."
Yeah, that quote really just seemed to foreshadow the future. That Doc Ock can't change and be good.
Yeah. It's kind of unfortunate. Maybe he'll become more than that and really be good even afterwards.
Or maybe he'll be wrong. Maybe Peter's right, because Peter even questions saying, like, he is changing. You're wrong.
That's true.
That's really what Superior Spider-Man is all about, whether or not you can rehabilitate bad. So as a grade for Superior Spider-Man number 5, what would you give it?
I'd give it a 4.5 out of 5. I thought it was one of the best issues of Superior Spider-Man. And the scene where Doc acts as an executioner, I think, was very good.
I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5. This issue really highlights the new Superior Spider-Man. It kind of incorporates some of the changes that Doc Ock is bringing to it, and it's just really refreshing as a Spider-Man title.
Thanks for watching B3 Comics review of Superior Spider-Man number 5. Before we go, we have a question for you.
So it's been 5 issues, and we've kind of seen a lot of this new Superior Spider-Man. Do you guys like him more now, or are you still anti-Doc Ock?
You can leave your thoughts in the comments below, and if you like what you see, please give us a thumbs up.